Hi there, Andre here from Peak Motorcycles. This is the first of a couple of videos about trying to put some proper panniers, so not just the sling over saddlebags, on my Honda CRF300 Rally. What I'm going to do in this video is I've actually got two sets of pannier frames. So both of these come from a company called Outback Motortek, and they make various luggage racks and frames and crash bars and other things for motorcycles. So they seem to be a bit slow in trickling through to the UK. But I did manage to get hold of these when they first came in. There's two versions that they do. One is sort of more like a more conventional tubular steel pannier frame, so just two squares. The other one they do is their X frames, which have extra places to attach luggage to, and they also have a metal plate in the middle that you can either put a toolbox on the inside of, or you can put a Rotopax mount or something like that. So I got both of them because honestly, I'm not sure which one I really need to go with for my CRF300 Rally, and I thought if I just get one of them, it turns out it's the wrong one, I can't do a comparison, then what do I do? So whichever one of these doesn't go on my Rally, if anyone's interested in it, let me know, otherwise it'll go on eBay. They're currently both wrapped up as they came from Outback Motortek. Before I unwrap them, I'm going to weigh them. I know some people hate this, some people quite like it. They are both quite heavy. The way that they actually come wrapped is that each metal piece is in an individual bag. So I thought rather than unpack everything and get it out on the table and show you, I thought if I weigh them exactly like this, I know I'm also weighing the weight of the plastic, but to be honest, it's going to be negligible compared to the weight of the frames themselves. So I've got a slightly different approach for weighing today. Very high tech. So here I have my weighing frame and my luggage weigher. I didn't get the kitchen scales for this. I know what my life's worth. Okay, that's reset to 0. So the very first one I'm going to weigh is this one. So this is just the regular pannier rack. So this is just the two frames that go either side, and then there is a bar that goes across the back to brace it. So I'll pop that in there, stick it on the scale, and that says 3 kilos 270 grams, so 3.27 kilos. So I'll take that off. Take all of that out, and then now this is the X frames with the extra plates and all the extra hardware that goes with it. It does feel heavier when I just lift it up actually. Okay, so here we go with this one. There we go. And this one, 4.58, so 4 kilos 580 grams. So 2.7 to 4.58, that is quite a big difference. So it's nearly 2 kilos extra for the X frames. Now, I suppose if you've got luggage that attaches to this in a more sensible way, then that is worth it. If you haven't, probably isn't. So next thing I'm going to do is this an unboxing video? I don't know. I think the last thing I unboxed was my rear shock when I took it out of the bag, but nevertheless, this is an unbagging video. So this is what comes with the standard frames. You can see that. It's a 18mm steel frame. I'll just show you on the GoPro. I'm sure it's like anything you've seen before. It's a rectangle with curved corners, mounting bracket to go around the pillion peg, 2 mounting brackets to go around the rack mount, and then a mounting point for the rear bar. And for the other side, exactly the same sort of fitting places. One at the back, one for the pillion peg, 2 to go around the mounting points. Now, very roughly, this fits on the bike like this, and I'm not sure if you can see it quite on there. I'll try and get centered, so maybe you can. Certainly on the GoPro it might be more obvious, or if I show it from the top. So for the side that has the exhaust, which is this side, it is a lot deeper. If you saw my Enduristan Monsoon Evo video, I've got 124 and 134 litre pannier. So the 24 will go on the exhaust side, and the 34 will go on the non-exhaust side, just so that the bike is actually the same width on both sides. That is the two frames. And the last things I have, so this is the crossbar piece that goes along the back. And then in here I have a bag full of screws, which I will open. Okay, so a bag full of mounting hardware. So I will just give you an even closer look at this, maybe if you didn't see it before. So that is the left side pannier frame. This one here is the right side pannier frame. This is the rear crossbar, which is, I guess, just a bar, and I guess that's got the cutout to fit around the wheels. And then I have all the mounting hardware to go with it. What it didn't come with is any instructions, but I think there's some on the Outback Motortek website. So I'm just going to put all of that to a side for 1 second. And what I'll do now is I'll unpack the X-frame one. In here, this bag is, I think, the main difference between the two of them. And in here I have these two metal plates which bolt onto the panniers. Another bag of bolts, and the frames themselves actually look slightly different. So the rear crossbar, I think, is exactly the same. It is. There we go. Yeah, that looks the same. Now the pannier frames themselves, I don't know if you can see that. So in comparing this one with the same one of the standard frames, I don't know if you can see those side by side. So the X-frame one has this extra, all these extra loops around the outside. So if your luggage needs something like that to fix to, then I think these are probably a better bet. Let me try and show those up to the big camera. Can you see those all right? So yeah, so this one, this is the X-frame, and it has all of these extra mounting points. So if you've got luggage which actually has top and bottom or left and right fixing points, then that's really useful. If you have something which will go onto pannier frames, actually onto the bar itself, then I think the other ones are a better fit. Yep, and there we go again, exactly the same thing. It's got these extra plates that have been welded on all the way around. So if your luggage fits onto those, then that is probably a better bet for you. There we have it, that is kind of what you get. There's the standard frames and the X-frames. Now, what I'm just going to do before I do anything else is I'm going to see if my Monsoon Evo panniers will fit onto both of them, or if what I suspect is they might only fit onto the standard frames. So for those of you who haven't seen my other video, I did a video about these Monsoon Evo panniers that have these little catches in the bottom. I'm just going to take those pins out. So what I was curious to know is if that will actually just fit into there. Oh, there we go. Now that does need quite a yank to get it to go in. I'm kind of hoping this is going to be a bit easier when they're on the bike, just because I'll be pushing down instead of along. Oh, there we go. So that's now in. And then these other straps I have, the webbing around the top, we just come around here. Okay, so I'm reasonably confident. I don't know if you can see that on there. I'll show it to the GoPro. So that is exactly how this fits on. There are some additional straps here which I'd put around the top to secure it, but actually just on those alone, that feels like it's a pretty good fit. So the next thing I need to do is to see if I can put these same bags onto the other frames. And I think the problem is going to be the spacing of these plates. So yeah, in fact, I can see from there that I don't think that is going to fit, unless they will actually just stick out the bottom. You can see that on that. I think it's where these plates actually touch is whether that will fit around it. But, you know, we shall try. One thing I will say is these aren't the easiest things to remove. Hoping that was going to get easier with time. So what I need to check is whether Enduristan have made the clamps so they're a little bit too small, or whether this 18mm bar with the powder coating on it is a little bit too thick. But what I had hoped was that this would just be a relatively easy click on, click off, instead of needing to apply quite as much pressure as I'm having to do here. So what I don't want to do is twist it in a way that it wasn't designed, where it then actually breaks. Well, I did get it off, but that really is quite a push to do that. There we go. Kind of hoping that would get easier with time. Both are the same size, so it does come on and off. Yeah, I'm kind of hoping that's a bit easier when it gets on the bike. Okay, let me try the other ones. So similar thing, the frame that would go in like that, and actually that does look like it would fit in exactly the same way. So I think with these panniers I can actually use either. So it's really a question around, do I want the extra plates? Do I want the extra weight from that? Am I ever going to need to carry any more fuel? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fit the metal plates to go inside of there, just to show you how that works. I won't talk through this, or at least I'll try not to. I'm just going to fit these on as quickly as I can. So I don't know if you can see how these fit, but actually there's these quite nicely made, you know, I'm a bit of a sucker for engineering, some blocks that have been, looks like they've been properly machined, that are threaded, and then just some bolts that go in on the other side. So the way that these fit together, I'll take one of these frames. So that basically fits inside there. So you probably couldn't see it as I was doing that up, but the holes at this end was just a single hole through. The holes at this end actually have a small amount of adjustment to up and down, which I guess is to make it fit this. So the fixed ones I'm actually putting at the bottom, because I guess that's where, if there is any weight that's on this, any load that's on it, you don't want that to move at all. So fixed holes at the bottom, do them up first. I think this is one of these things where it is actually quite fiddly to get it in the first time, but then once it's in, it's in. Okay, that feels like it's actually wedging quite well, so I can fiddle around with this fourth one. Now, one thing I was slightly curious about with this, and I haven't tightened these ones up yet, was whether this middle plate would move. So I know that someone who got one of the first ones in the same batch that mine came from had a problem that actually this wasn't secure enough. It was moving forwards and backwards. So I was slightly worried that that was going to be a problem here. But actually it doesn't seem to be. This seems to be really, you know, really well made, really, it's a really good fit. And actually now that that is tightened up, I can't move it at all. So there we go. So that is how that X plate fits in the middle. You can see that on there. If I'll show you on the back side, there we go. It's just these 4 blocks that have come through with those bolts in. I'm sure I could have put some thread lock on that, but there's always time to fit that later. Right, I'm just going to do the other one as quick as I can. Now I know how to do it. So I'll show you now up close on this one. So you can see here, these are the 2 fixed holes which I'm going to put at the bottom. These are the 2 larger holes with the adjustment if need be, but I think because the weight of this is going to be downwards, those 2 are going to go there. I think that actually that has tightened that up to the extent that I need to just loosen those off a bit just to get these upper ones in. So there we have it. I'll just show you the other one up close. As you can see, very exactly the same as the other one. That is the 2 pannier frame options that come from Outback Motortek for the Honda CRF300L and Honda CRF300 Rally. I'll just hold these 2 up side by side so you can kind of see the difference between them now that they're all made up. This one is the X frame. It's got this X bracket in the middle onto which you can put your Rotopax or a tool thing. This one is just very plain. If you've got panniers that fit to it nicely, then I think that's fine. If you have some that need more mounting points, it's probably not ideal. Decision time. It is tricky because I do like the options that this gives, and if I ever did need to take more fuel, I'm sure I'll be kicking myself. However, because the Enduristan Evos fit so nicely to the simple racks and they are lighter, that is actually what I'm going to go with. Now, in terms of fitting them to the bike, the video would be exactly the same because the fitting points, the way that the bars fit together and the rest of it is all exactly the same. But rather than do 2 videos to just show you how 2 different identical fitting processes take place, I'm only going to do it once. And at least to start with, I'm only going to do it for the simple frames. And the reason for that is exactly as I said, that my panniers seem to fit to these really well. If I had something that needed the securing points, I'd definitely put these ones on. I'm going to do this as a separate video because I think some people will be, you know, trying to work out which of these 2 frames works best for them. Other people are going to want to know about how to fit it. So I'm going to end this video here, and I'm going to do a separate video which shows me fitting this to my CRF300 Rally behind me, and also fitting the Enduristan Monsoon Evo panniers to them once they've been fitted. I hope this has been interesting and useful. If it has, please like and subscribe. And if you want to see the fitting process, check out the other video that looks very similar to this one, except has the title that it's fitting them. Thanks for watching.